She needs no introduction at all, but I am going to introduce her. Some people know her as Angela White. Many knows her as Blac Chyna. I'm hoping to get to know her as my sister in Christ. My name is Shelley, and welcome to my podcast, Love Unmasked. I speak on the importance of love and self-awareness. I share guidance on how to rise above a pain and baggage that holds us back, and how to use our life story and our past experiences as a source of information for strength for today. Here, Dr. Angela White.
Hello, everyone.
So, I had the privilege of hearing you speak on a panel in Atlanta about 6 weeks ago.
Yes.
And this was when I first heard about you had made a lot of positive changes in your life. And you started to speak, and you talked about you stopped drinking, you were baptized, and you just made a lot of positive changes. And when you spoke, I could see your heart. I saw kindness, compassion when you spoke. And I said to myself, this lady, I need to have a conversation with her, because I could just see that you just had a good heart, and I want others to just hear your story so you can light the pathway for their journey that's upcoming, for generations that's coming up behind us. But before we dive into any your transition and things that you've done for the good, I want to get to know the little Angela. So can you share with me, what was it like growing up for you as a child, and some of your fondest memories growing up? Playing hide and go seek.
Right. And I'm always honest about certain things. I feel like I don't really remember too much about my childhood like that.
Okay.
To be honest. But as far as I can go back and think, I've just always been outgoing, outspoken. I've always was just very sweet.
Okay.
Just very sweet.
So that was going to be one of my questions. What is as a child, your personality type? We have dominant. You play with the kids. They tell the kids what to do.
Yeah.
You're gonna be this person, or you're gonna be that person. Then you have the inspiring, people person, always smiling. And then you have the cautious person that has one friend, and they're guarded about life. And then you have, people that are kumbaya.
Right.
As the wind blows, as long as everyone's in my circle, I'm gonna do what everyone does. And I'm not. I don't think that is you, but I don't know.
No, that was never me. I would have to say more the leader, but never dominant, but just always cool. Wherever you put me, I'm gonna adapt into that environment. Yeah.
Did you make friends easily, or were you?
Being as though I moved a lot, I didn't really have that many childhood friends.
Okay. What about siblings?
Only child.
Only child.
I'm the only child, yeah. So that was fun. But I grew up with my god sisters and my little cousins.
Okay, so you still have a close relationship with them.
Yes.
So do you have any of your childhood from high school that you may keep in touch with now, still have a bond with?
Yes.
That you...
My good friend Takia, we went to Anacostia together, and I just recently seen her, and it's just wow. It was very interesting. We had a lot of fun. At Anacostia. Yep.
So when we talk about your personality type and what you were like when you were a child, would you say you're still that person, or did you see yourself changing down the line any? Because as an example, as a child, I was a very people person, outgoing, all that, talk to the wind, the bug, or anyone.
Yeah.
And as I conformed to the environment that I was in, then I noticed I started to lose a little of who I was because I was doing more of what my environment was dictating should be done. And so I lost a little bit of who I was by conforming in the environment. Would you say that who you were as a child, that you still maintain that personality, that who you are now, or maybe just some subtle changes?
I've always liked to like explore when I was younger and figure out things, and I feel like that definitely is some of the traits that I still have. I'm just trying to really think. These are really good questions. Really great questions, actually. I don't know, just for me, I just always wanted to like strive more, for more and things like that. And I feel like I didn't really have like the chance to sit and make friends with certain people because my environment changed so much.
Right.
That's why for me, it was very easy for me to just cut off people and stop talking to people because this is something that I did as a child. Right. Because it wasn't like no set schedule, set things. So just now into my adulthood, I feel like, stability for me is everything. And that's what I strive on, stability and having some type of plan of action enforced. And even with my kids, I just told myself, like, I'm not going to like uproot them and do this and do that, like, how it was for me when I was younger, because I feel like, once again, that played a major part on how I am as an adult.
Exactly.
Because I would meet so many different people and just go from this place to that place and cut off people when I feel as though they were like not getting on my nerves or something I didn't like. I'm not about to communicate with you. I'm out.
Right.
And I find now that I'm older, like that's not a healthy trait, and that's just me growing up. Sometimes we have to talk out things and find common grounds with people and things like that, and everything don't have to go your way. Or if you don't see eye to eye now, maybe can revisit the conversation a little bit later. And I've learned that as an adult.
Right. So you say you could easily cut people off. Now, when you did have someone that was in your circle, that was close to you, did you find that you may cling a little bit to that person, or hold on tight to that person because you found someone that you can trust and someone you didn't want to let go quick if they pissed you off, or was it just the same with anyone you trust? If it get to a point where they piss you off or you wanted, them out, you can cut them off easily.
Yeah, I could just cut people off easy.
You being honest.
Yeah, because oh man, it is what it is. Because sometimes, like when I'm rolling with the punches, I have things that I want to do, and if you still like in the past or like on something old, I just can't
Holding you back, you let it go.
Because some people, they like to hold on to things. It's like for me, something that happened, I recognize it, and then literally forget about it.
Yeah.
When other people, they don't have like that same mentality. So
yeah. So who would you say play a significant role in raising you?
a significant role, my mother and my grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your grandmother and your mother, they're both still with you now?
No, my mom, she lives in D.C. My grandmother passed away in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yes, from breast cancer.
So being a young child, so you had to learn a lot on your own. You had to figure out
Yeah.
a whole lot.
So yeah, for sure. I mean, even to this day, and that's why when you're younger, you're like, oh, I'm only child, I'm so lonely. But then as an adult, it's like, man, I'm glad that I was an only child, because, you know, if I had a younger brother or older sister or something like that, it'd probably be just like us, and sharing ideas and wanting to either bring each other up or just something. So I feel like for me and what I've been doing in my adulthood, it definitely prepared me for the things that I'm doing and things to come. I don't really have to like really worry about a sibling.
Right.
So I don't really have like that bond with
Right.
another person
Right. And so that
in that way.
that I'm sure that helped a lot in your leadership skills, you know, having to make decisions, having, you know, to do it on your own. I can't imagine, I'm gonna be honest, because I'm from a family of, I have seven of us total.
Wow.
And I was next to the youngest.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I learned a lot from my older sister, that she's 2 years older than I am. And I learned a whole lot from her. And, you know, I can't imagine if I had to, my personality type, if I had to, you know, grow up alone, or, you know. But you have a strong, I can tell you have a strong disposition.
Yeah.
And figure things out quick.
Yeah, but if you were by yourself, whatever, like you said, environment that you're in, that's just kind of like be that, like the source of it. You know what I mean? And then it's like, in my mind, what it used to be is like hustle and try to figure it out.
Right. So, did you have any dreams or passion? I want to be this when I grow up, or I know I always said, when I grow up, I want to be married. I want 2 kids. I want the picket white fence. I didn't know who I wanted to marry, but I knew I did not want to marry a fireman, a policeman, because I worry and I'm like, that's a dangerous job, and I want my man to come home. Yeah, I'm a kid and I think about stuff like that. But those are our dreams. Those are, you know, the start of our vision and what we want to be when we are older. What were some of your aspirations, or were you taught to dream, or did you, because typically, you know, we're taught not to dream, you know, grow up, stop, that's, you can't be that, or, you know, they put limitations on what we can do, but we're unique and we're created in God. We can do anything we envision and what we want to do. So what were some of...
To be honest, I never was the kid to say, oh, I want to be a police person, or I want to be on TV, or a model, or any of that. No, I didn't have any like aspirations, or like I didn't put things on myself what I thought I was going to be when I grew up.
Do you, how do I say this, envision encouraging your kids to dream about whatever it is they want to do, that they can be and do whatever it is that they want to be or do? Or
How do I encourage them?
do you envision yourself encouraging them, or...
Yes, whatever it is that they're into, I'm definitely going to support it. And I want them to just do and be the best at it, whatever it is that they want to do. And then even from their childhood, like I don't put them in certain things that's going to hinder their imagination. You know, because I have like a lot of people that say, oh, you can put your kids in modeling, you can make money from this and this and that. Like I didn't have them to make money off of them. I had them because God wanted me to have them to shape my life. Yeah.
So in the book of King Solomon, he talks about there's nothing new under the sun. Things that have happened has happened before. It'll happen again, you know.
Absolutely.
And I contribute that to, we don't share information. We want to hide things and sweep it under the rug and act like this never happened in, you know, our past generation. And I feel that we can learn by sharing experiences, that our lessons learned, because I feel there's no mistake. There's no I want to do over and do this over, because I feel everything that has happened to me in my life, I have learned something from it, and it's something that has molded who I am. So, but here now with social media, everything is plastered, you know, on everything is there, you know, truth or not truth. At some point, do you talk to your children about lessons learned, your life, things you went through, just to share with them, you know, hey, I went through this, you know, because too often we know not to do something, but we don't understand why not. Like, what's the end result or something? We're just always told, don't do this, don't do that, but we're not given any other information with it. Or how do I not do that? You know, it's a habit now. We don't understand. We can't stop it. It's a habit. You know, we're not taught that coming up. We're not. You know. So do you have that? Do you see yourself having that conversation with your kids when they get older? Like, hey,
I have those conversations with them now. I let them know what's going on so we can all be on the same page. And they're very, very, very intelligent, and they see everything. You know, and they know, kids know more things than what we think that they know. So I just always like enlighten them. If it's something that I'm like, hey, I don't want you doing that, and I have to explain why, they might be like, but that's why. And then I let it be. That's what it is. I'm like, dang, I go upstairs like, wait, was that too much? Well, I know they won't do it though.
so during the pandemic, that was a rough time for a lot of people. I even hit what I call rock bottom, and I got to a point where I didn't want to go on anymore. And I immediately thought about my granddaughter, and that thought went away immediately. And then I thought about my kids. Granddaughters first, granddaughters, grandson, and then I thought about my kids, and then that selfishness that I had in me, you know, went away, and I thought about them, and then I prayed. You know, I prayed. I hit rock bottom, and I knew that only Christ in me could help get me through what I was going through.
What was the rock bottom for you?
The rock bottom was, I realized, number one, I had no friends. You find out who your friends are when you know, by yourself, and you need to reach out and you need help or something. I realized, you know, and I always knew that in the, you know, back of my mind. A guy I was dating at the time, dated for a long time, and this was before I accepted who I was and knew my worth. And so I was always looking for others to accept me. So I was hitting rock bottom because I didn't have that person there who I thought was the essence of me, which wasn't. And all I had was darkness because I was just alone, and I didn't see, you know, my path forward. But I hit rock bottom, but that was the best thing that had happened for me, because I was able to discover who I was, accept who I was, and now I know that my worth is through Christ and not through others and my friends that I was looking for to accept me, to include my parents. And so that's when my transition started. And I started telling my story and my lessons learned, because I actually had a child at an early age by an older man. So I tell my story and my lessons learned to help others. And so, at what point did you say, I've had enough, and you became aware that a change needed to happen, and you made the decision that, I'm assuming, to be baptized, or you had lessons, or started some, what do you call it, studying, or did anything happen that, you hit a rock bottom, or you just said, I'm tired of being tired and I need to make a change and I want a new mindset, what was it for you that ultimately influenced you to stop drinking and to make a change?
Ultimately, God, because nothing didn't happen. Like, I didn't get a DUI, I didn't get a reckless, I didn't end up in jail, didn't do this. There's so many of these different things that could happen. So whereas now you're like summoned to do something. Like, everything was free will, and that's a blessing, And I know what I was doing and how it would make me feel. So it was one of those things to where it was like, do you want to continue to feel like this, or do you want to do better for yourself? Because the people around you, you're doing great. Everybody, you're doing great. You're making money, you're getting this, all this, But they don't know, like, the back end. When I go and I close my eyes and be by myself, they only see like just one side of it. So me getting baptized on my birthday, it was like the first step. And then after that, that was in May, and then September 14th, I was 2022. I was like, I'm gonna practice sobriety, and I'm gonna stick with it. Because I would stop and I would start and just all this stuff, but it just wasn't like the perfect time where I would try to go to therapy, and I was doing it for other people, not because I wanted to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants to go to therapy. Nobody wants to stop drinking. This is all discipline. Nobody wants to do a lot of stuff.
Right.
And it's definitely a learning experience for me. And the main thing is the whole patience thing and communication. Because if you couldn't understand what I'm talking about, I just don't have time for it.
Right.
And for me, I felt like everything was on a timely matter, like I gotta go.
Right.
Instead of just sitting back and relax and chill out, I got to go.
I went through a brief period where I said I was gonna stop drinking, and actually that was during the pandemic, and I found myself, I would get up, I would have my worship, I'll go to the track, I'll run, come home, shower, log on, work, end of the day, go to the store, buy some wine, sit down, binge watch television. And I just started that cycle. Why I thought I needed to drink during the week when we were going through this pandemic, I don't know. So I had went through where I was literally on weekends going through bottles of wine and, and finally I said, oh, wait, does that mean I'm an alcoholic? Because I was drinking every day. So I stopped drinking, like just cut off weekends, during the week for like 2 months. Yeah. And then I said, well, if I go 2 months, maybe that means I'm not, So I went back to like weekends only, or, So I commend you for actually like, hey,
you have to it's almost a thing where you gotta trick your mind, because if you keep doing the same exercise, you're not gonna get results. Exactly. So if you normally do something this way, you should kind of maybe switch it up too. There's always to switch up things, because you're not a robot. Right. And that's what happens. It's when you're too much on a schedule, you're not exercising your brain.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's just you can actually do it with your eyes closed. You don't even, what you need sight for, because you already know what to do.
And too often, that's just how it is for us in life. We're just going through this, this cycle. So in relationships, so I was married for 15 years before I got a divorce. And when I divorced, I can give you a long laundry list of why my marriage didn't work and what he did wrong.
Your list is long or short?
A long list of what he did, not what I did. But as I matured, and now when I focus on and look at relationships, I look at things, what I could have done differently. And so I take that into the relationship with the new mindset, what I can do, because we're not here to fix others, and to point and judge others. And so what would you say that you've learned from your past relationships that you're aware of and made changes going into new relationship?
I feel like my past relationships, everyone that I entered was an urgency when it shouldn't have been. Why? What's the rush? Urgency for what?
So now you're taking the time to
Really get to know people. It's like my past ones, it's like, I like you, like me. We go together now.
I like the way you look.
Ugh, and then you be so deep in it that you're like,
Been there.
ah. Like, why is this person Ooh, I got to go. I got to go.
And
Yeah.
that's something that I
And I-
actually
And I feel like now, like with my new relationship and things like that, we put God in it, and we need to be friends first. And I feel like a lot of times when people get into relationships, they try to start to morph into the other person. So it's really important that that person has their own identity and have their own passions and dreams, because if not, it's going to become a competition. Or it's going to be some jealousy there and insecurity and this and that. So it becomes too much. That's why I feel like a lot of times, like celebrities, they kind of date in the same pool, because dating like a regular person, it's like you're not going to understand that I could be cool with all these males and not feel insecure or going through my phone or accusing or just doing stuff.
right.
Or even a female dating a guy that's in the industry, and he could be totally doing nothing, or he could be doing everything under the sun. But no, I'm just kidding. Would he love you though? No, I'm just kidding. So it's like you gotta, yeah. It's different.
You're right.
Putting God first and then communication and just being like laying it out, like, hey, this is what's up.
Absolutely.
A lot of people like to hide things. Now I'm gonna let you know right now what's up.
Yeah. So your identity, who you are, what is the contrast between Angela and Blac Chyna? What would you say?
The difference?
Yes. Or is there no difference? One is just a brand name and it's all one and the same?
Blac Chyna overly sexualized, but not. It's just like kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's like one of those weird things. That right there, it's like you just look and it seems sexual. Like I'm just looking. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. You like very over sexualized, and I feel like Blac Chyna definitely led the path for me to be here sitting with you. Because if I wasn't so headstrong and didn't let people play with me or do things to me or didn't take certain things serious when it needed the urgency of it being taken serious, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have like half of the things that I have now if it wasn't for this. You know, and Blac Chyna's still there. It's like she just disappeared. No, it's just separating like the brand from myself. Like, cut it out. There's a time where you turn it on. There's a time where you turn it off. But right now, I feel like if I was to do music, drop a song, I'm not going to drop it under Angela White. It's going to be Blac Chyna. Bring out the witch. Bring out the witch. Plug up the flat irons. What's up? What y'all want, some blue hair? Nikki, where them shoes at?
So,
We love Blac Chyna. Come on.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. But Angela is just me. Regular person.
Right.
But the only difference is the celebrityness of it all. Yeah. Because I would be this, if it wasn't for like people that was tuned in like over like the years, then I would just be regular Angela, which I am still regular Angela to myself and my friends. But you walk outside the door, it's like Blac Chyna, Angela White, So now I'm just bringing everything from so far here to where I feel like I can't talk to her until I could definitely walk up and just give her a hug. And that's what people do now. They're like, can I just give you a hug? I'm like, yeah. I'm down.
So it's obvious that you know who you are, your identity, who you are.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
I don't know everything.
Okay, so that leads to my next question. Your purpose in life. Do you feel you are fulfilling your purpose in life now, or it's still in the investigation stage? Because I'm going to be honest, I had no clue. When I was 59 when I figured out what my purpose and what I felt I was created for, and how God wanted to use my voice. And that's one of the reasons why I get out and I talk about self-awareness, because you can't start making changes if you're not even aware what needs to be changed, or a mindset, what needs to be renewed, or so I want to say I was lost all those years.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you gotta keep it real with yourself. A lot of people can't keep it real with themselves. A lot of people, they just can't. But as far as like purpose wise, I don't know when it's gonna be my last day here. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna take it day by day, continue to, walk in this path and things like that, and the people that surround me, try to be there for them, be there for my kids, and do the best that I can. Just do the best that I can. I can't sit right here and say, hey, I know my purpose in life, because right now I don't know. And I feel like it's unveiling in front of our eyes. So it's almost like we're in a movie, and our worlds collide. And I'm just so curious. I can't really pinpoint it. I just know I just have to do the right thing, and I know what's right and what's right and what's wrong and what's wrong.
I always ask my guests this question. Think of someone that is close to you.
Okay.
Not your kids. Mm-hmm. Do you have a person in mind that's close to you? Mm-hmm. Share something about that person that's their strength. And the reason I ask that is oftentimes we are always aware of someone's weaknesses, and we focus on that. And so I'm going through this new thing where I'm focusing on the good and the strength of others, because, when I'm with my friend, then he has some strong suits that when we're together, it works. And so I don't have to, because it may be something that I may lack a little bit in, but because he's so strong, his strength in that is so great that it bridges my weakness. And so I like to look at people's strength and still be aware of what my weakness is, because I need to have boundaries and protect myself, vulnerability, but also be able to see the strengths in others.
I always see the strength in others. I don't look at their weaknesses. Because to be honest, why would I care if they don't care? Now, if you bring your weaknesses over here to me, then I'll help you out. So the people that I'm around is because I truly want to be around them. And I don't look at their weaknesses or what they've been through and all that. Because if they're not worrying about it, why should I? If they don't see a problem with it, then I don't either. As long as it's not affecting me and like affecting my work and affecting my mental, then it is what it is. But all in all, yeah, I don't go and I'd be like, oh, I see this and start pressing on. No, it's not my personality.
And that's a good thing, but you'd be surprised that so many do not actually see other, they're very judgmental and can see others, weakness and point out something about them, which I'm learning to find out actually when they're actually pointing out things is actually things within themselves that they need to really address.
Right. And you know what, like with me, and this is so true, I'm never going to ask any of my friends, anybody that's close to me, what's wrong. I've never been that person. If they bring their problems or issues to me, then we'll address it. I'm not that type of person to be like, okay, so what's going on with this and this and that and this and that? It's like not my place, And I feel like that's where that's where a lot of times people can't really open up and like be vulnerable. You got to leave that open space for them. And then eventually they'll come around and it'll be more genuine. And not like if you call them or something like that they have to feel like they have to explain something or they can't be their authentic selves.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know I said that was the last question, but
No,
so you had reverse surgery done, and looking at you, you're beautiful. Inside and out, I'm finding out. So what gave you the decision to have reverse surgery? Did you find that no matter how many series of surgeries you had, it wasn't going to change how you accepted yourself? Or was it safety reasons? Or
when I was getting the surgeries and things like that, it came with the job.
and your job was?
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, yeah, I started off as a dancer. I was a dancer for 6 years. So from the ages of 18 to 24, that's all I did.
Okay.
And then from there, that's when things started to shift, different chapters and all that. But as far as like taking it out, I was just over it, and it looked silly. And I wanted to test like just myself, just overall. And all them surgeries and things like that is just very unsafe. And what I had got was in illegal injections. And you start thinking, like, when you get older, like, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on in there? Like, how long is this going to, like, actually withstand in my body before it, like, actually, like, harms me? Because you see so many girls that pass away from it, too. Travels, like, straight to their lungs, all of that. Women die right on the operating table because they wasn't being honest when they filling out the papers. Just all these different things trying to go to, like, cheaper people.
Did you, at the time, did it make you feel better about yourself, or only better because you knew, oh, this would help with the sales? Or
It's a brand. Sex sells.
Absolutely.
I think the luxury of like my situation was like I'm actually smart. Yep. That's really what saved it. It saved me. And I realized like I'm not gonna look like this forever, so what are you gonna do? Like really, what are you gonna do?
are you good with who you are? Do you accept who you are? Are you... And the reason I'm saying that...
Yeah, I accept who I am.
You have a lot of followers, and I think it's just important for them to hear and understand that we have to accept ourselves first. Acceptance comes from within.
That comes from something happening, some trauma, or you being tired of some stuff and all this. Self-love takes a lot. A lot of people say, I have self-love. All right, let me see.
It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. It don't. And one of the things for me with the self-love, that's where, okay, the working out and this and that, watching what I do, watching the alcohol intake, all that stuff plays a part. You literally only have one body. And I feel like people don't really understand how sensitive the body is. One little, you're done. And I'm not trying to be done. We got things to do. Yeah. Yeah. Self-love, that's deep.
Yeah, it's a whole nother new conversation in itself, because that's something I struggled with growing up a lot, because I didn't accept who I was. I didn't accept the way I looked, because I looked like my mother. And growing up, my mother always said how ugly she was. And so if you hear as a child your mother saying, and she used the word drop dead ugly. And so when people would come and visit or would be out in public, then I'm told, you look just like your mother. Look at you. You look just like your mother. So now I'm telling myself, well, if I look like my mother and my mother is constantly saying how ugly she is, then I started, having that negative belief about myself. And it's not something that goes away overnight. It's you feed into it constantly. And so people would say, well, even my mother, well, I don't know why you don't know you're beautiful. And I'm thinking to myself, because you told me I was ugly, so I have this negative belief. And then my son, is trying to say, Mom, but it's something you have to learn and understand and accept yourself. And then one day I did a shoot with my adult kids, and then I was just like, I don't look so bad. And then my son was like, Mom, that's what I've been telling you all these years. But the thing was, I had went through that transition when I went through that low period, when I started praying, and, I had went through that transition and then accepted who I was. And that came with getting rid of the negative of how I saw myself and accepted myself. It didn't matter what anybody told me.
Yeah.
It's what you believe inside. And that's where I, want to tell the story, and because it's a change that must come from within inside. And for us, we need to be aware of it, and before we can even start addressing it.
Exactly.
And so, but
Earthly things.
I think that's it. So is there anything that you would like to share with the audience? I do not even have to say follow you, because you already have 1 million followers. Is there anything upcoming that you want to, shout out about, or just any words of wisdom that you might want to share with someone that's listening, that's been a follower of yours, that you might want to share some?
Don't dwell on the past. Exit out all the people that you know for sure isn't there for you. And if you know that they're not there for you, try to figure out what's the energy that they're trying to suck from out of you. Embrace that energy and build that energy up more, to build yourself up more, to get you out of any situation. If it's some business stuff, don't take no easy routes. Do all the proper steps that you need to do. And understand too, like, God has never left your side. He's always been there. You just have to open up your eyes and see and look around. And don't let nobody tell you can't do nothing that you put your mind to. Because the thing about it is, this is your mind. Nobody can control your mind. Everything is free will. It's free will to love God and to praise Him. That's all He asks. It's free will for you to go down that dark path too. So ultimately, the choice is yours. And I will tell you this, just as much as you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're favored by God, you are favored by the devil. So don't go down that rabbit hole, and understand the difference. Overanalyze it. think it through. Don't do it super impulsive. Control your emotions and live by faith and relax. Take a nap. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm
Not
like,
tell. I'm telling. Hey.
and I'm like,
Ooh. So you gotta
Angela.
regroup. You gotta sleep. You gotta go to sleep.
So to hear more of my videos, my life lessons learned, my stories, please follow me on Instagram. You can find me at Shelly, that's CHELLIE 256. Leave a message. And also at the end of this, I will leave a link for my platform. So watch my videos, find something in my videos that you like, hit the like button,
Subscribe.
and subscribe. Yes.
Like, subscribe, comment, share to your friends, to your family members.
Yes. And remember, everything you need, you have within. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Angela.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.